What the fuck? Hello and welcome to Taste Like Tea, a podcast in which I talk about myself. My name is Theo. Don't call me Ted. Today I'm going to be doing a little drive along. I have a couple of stops to make, and I have a movie to talk about. I actually didn't even decide, as normal, I didn't even decide to talk about this until about 5 minutes ago. That's cool though. It's been a hell of a week. This is my third recording this week, where I've been normally doing 2 a week. It's fine. I'm just completely unorganized with this. Like, I keep scrolling through my diary and going like, do I even have anything to talk about? And I don't, obviously I can talk about really anything on my diary to an extent, but I don't want to sit here for 45 minutes and just be like, yeah, I liked it, it's all right. Like, I don't need that kind of energy here. I got to get in front of this truck before it gets in front of me. As usual, I don't put it anywhere consistently, but I am a person. I am a person that exists. That's kind of like the whole reason this podcast exists, is because I exist. I am a person with a perspective, an opinion, and thoughts and feelings, etc. that only I could technically have. People could have similar experiences and similar mindsets and similar opinions and similar perspectives, but no one will have the exact same experience as me. That's what this podcast is about. I've been kind of generally just talking about movies most of the time, but there's occasionally a time where, I think I did it once where I just kind of had a bad day and I just vented for half an hour and popped a fucking curb and shredded the sidewall of my tire, which was just a whole thing. That was just very distressing. That was a whole thing. Things have shifted a little bit since then. I can't say I wasn't medicated then, but I'd say my medication has leveled out a bit, and I am less distressed. Although sounds are still overwhelming, I still hate trucks on the road, and other hard opinions I have that I've shared in the past. It's a thing that happens. It's a thing that's part of me, or whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just letting words flow out of my mouth. I haven't said anything or anything at all, except me. It's kind of like that, the first episode of Scrubs, where you're introducing characters and Dr. Kelso's sidekick nerd, in JD's head, he's just going, I'm a tool. 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 And I'm a tool. And that's kind of what I'm doing, but, I was about to say not insulting myself, but I just called myself a tool 16 times or whatever. So, anything but ted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me and, tell me why your perspective is exactly the same as mine. Maybe you've had the exact same life as I did, and I just, didn't know it. Statistically speaking, it's not realistic, but that doesn't mean anything. I was about to make a 9/11 joke, but I didn't feel like it. I would have just said some 9/11, and then, I just said that. Which, speaking of, I haven't done it in a while. I shouldn't say I haven't done it in a while. I do kind of throw it in a little bit in my written reviews, but, generally when I watch an early 2000s, late 1990s film, I usually bring up 9/11, and I just haven't done it in a while. I don't know if my brain is just not focused on it lately, or if I'm genuinely not feeling the pre-post 9/11 stuff that I've been pointing out in the past. Michael Bay is my favorite example of having pre and post 9/11 movies, like, to a T. That man definitionally has the most post 9/11 movie I've ever seen in my life, and it's insane. But yeah, anythingbutted@gmail.com. I think I've only said it once. Hello, hi, that's me. And I'm going to be talking about a movie today, a single movie as per drive-alongs go, because I can't keep more than one thing in my head if I am also driving. But also I seem to talk a lot more fluently when I'm focused on doing something else. In this case, technically two things, because I do also have my fidget toy. You know, it's just a spinner, you can hear it. And I'm driving. So I'm going to be talking about a film that I honestly didn't really know existed until maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't really know. It was very recently, though. It's Cronenberg's... what the fuck is his first name? What is Cronenberg's first name? Is it Brian? Brandon? David Cronenberg. I have the DVD case in my car door right now because I'm bringing it back to the library. But I know who Cronenberg was. I knew about his body horror films and stuff like that, but I never heard of this film. It's called eXistenZ. eXistenZ. Capital X, capital Z, or big X, big Z, as they say in the movie. I think they say it like that. Yeah, it's a film I never heard of. And honestly, anybody who talks about Cronenberg, I don't think I've ever mentioned it, except I think maybe that one time, right? A couple weeks ago, I heard something on a podcast or something like that. Has to have been it, and I just happened upon it. And then I went to the library. I rushed to grab whatever I could, and I was in the early parts of the alphabet. I had Blue Velvet, Critters, and then I saw eXistenZ, and I just grabbed it because I recognized the name. I knew I haven't seen it before, and I know Cronenberg is a director I'm not very experienced with. This is probably my... How many Cronenberg films have I seen? I've definitely seen The Fly, but I haven't seen that in about 15-20 years, so I technically haven't even, like other than very hyper-specific visuals, I don't really remember that film very much. I think I actually, just like The Blob, in my head, combine both the original and the remake. Because when I think of The Blob, I'm like, wait, that was in color? And I'll see a scene from the 1980s version and realize, like, holy shit, I watched both. But for some reason, I assumed that everything in the 80s film happened in the 50s film. I don't remember what year that one came out, but... yeah, so what am I talking about? Cronenberg, The Fly, right? Well, not The Fly, but that's just what the last thing I said. That's the only thing I think I've seen prior to this with Cronenberg. Yeah. I genuinely don't think there's anything else prior to this. And I think it's a little bizarre that I haven't seen a Cronenberg film, because, he's kind of exactly the kind of filmmaker I would like. Although, maybe a year or two ago, I probably wouldn't have liked his films just because of how, something I definitely wouldn't have picked up on as a kid, but his, like, psychosexual themes that are built into his films, like almost inherently all the body horror is kind of paralleled with sex in some way, shape, or form. I feel like I'm lying about having not seen other Cronenberg films, but I guess it's not relevant, because clearly I don't remember. Oh! I saw The Brood, and I think I fell asleep, so I don't remember a lot of the second half. But I was very underwhelmed by it, and I have a feeling it had something to do with just me being tired and unable to focus. So, like, I'm not condemning the film, but I definitely did not enjoy it fully the first time I watched it. So yeah, I've seen right now, after eXistenZ, a total of 3 Cronenberg films, and none of them, other than The Fly, I guess, are ones I hear people talk about, and because The Fly is so popular, I never hear people talk about that either, because everyone on podcasts refuses to talk about things that people like to talk about. They'll be like, people have talked about this to death, but no, I've never heard a podcast about The Fly. Like do an episode on The Fly. I'll probably do an episode on The Fly because I don't care about the popularity of the film. I care about my reaction. Someone commented on one of my low reviews recently for Fern Gully 2, and he's like, you notoriously rate quote unquote bad movies very highly, so to see a low rating is a surprise. And that threw me for a loop, but it also said that my low score piqued his interest, which made me think that my taste is definitionally opposite to his, and which is funny because I met that person on Reddit during a post I made about how I was trying to have film discussions on Reddit and everyone was just being mean to me, and he was the only person that responded to me in a non-aggressive, mean way and said, let's have a real discussion. And I followed him on it. Whatever, long-winded, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, but it's just a thing that happened recently, and I think it's interesting. I definitely came off as mad when I replied to his comment, because he ended his reply to me with I meant no offense. And I'm like, dude, you're good, I'm being dramatic. So I watched eXistenZ on DVD. It stars Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I pulled that. That's crazy. It came out in the year 1999, and on the DVD case, it specifically says, makes The Matrix look like child's play. So this film came out the same year as The Matrix, and it's already using that as its big selling point, which tells me more about how hard they were clamoring for something to compare it to, because there's really not much you can compare this to an extent. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like The Lawnmower Man is probably a really good parallel to this. But what is eXistenZ? eXistenZ is a video game, video game technology, I guess. So the film starts in the main characters, I already said, Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's crazy that I was able to pull. Jude Law's name is pretty easy to pull, but Jennifer Jason Leigh, that's 3 first names. Crazy. So we open on an AA meeting, but it's like a conference for a video game presentation, where people are voluntarily joining some sort of a beta testing experience, where the new technology is this weird flesh bladder video game machine, and it plugs directly into your spine through intestines that come out of it, and it lets you experience a hyper-realistic fully immersive video game, essentially. It's like getting isekai'd into a parallel universe where you have certain tendencies and your character is kind of subconsciously different, even though you're consciously the same. Wow, I'm saying all these words, and as they're coming out, I'm like, holy shit, I'm nailing this. This is some good shit. Am I right? Oh no, I lost it. I gave myself props and I lost it. So, the video game test group, what happens? Jude Law doesn't have the ability to play video games. He's never played a video game before, and he's there as a spectator, if you will. But Jennifer Jason Leigh plays the video game developer. So she's kind of trying to sell this meat bladder video game machine to the people as like the first, like the best fully immersive video game ever made. And I love that. I don't actually think they use the word video game. They might just say game, because I was about to say there's technically no video involved. There's barely any electronics involved, because the whole bladder console system is made of organic material. Oh, right, and it opens on people getting patted down. Pre 9/11, people getting patted down. That shows you how. And they were saying like, oh, it's not for weapons or anything. And the guard is like, yeah, it's for it's more or less for cameras and recording devices. Because I don't know if you've ever been to like a behind the curtains video game presentation, but they are very insistent on you not recording it, which is fair. You know, it's their work. They should be the one to be putting out public things and stuff like that. But like, I remember seeing Killing Floor 2 get revealed at Comic-Con, or maybe no, it was definitely Comic-Con, and they had like classes of 30 people they would take in waves at a time. It would be like a 30 to 50 minute presentation showing you just like the physics engine and stuff like that. And you're behind black curtains, and you're in a dark room to make sure that not a single device is turned on. And if you are caught with a device in your hand, that you would be removed. Like, so that's what they're doing in the film, is they're just like bringing this experience. Like you're gonna watch this first-hand experience of a soon-to-be widely available game, but you can only leave with your perspective, and that's normal. That's a really common thing. And one of the guys, he's like, "Oh, I have my own game controller. I brought it from home." And he's like, and the guy's like, "You don't need your own game controller." He's like, "Yeah, but I like it. It's, you know, it's a guy bringing his own fight stick to a Smash tournament. Do you use fight sticks for Smash tournaments?" I'm curious about that actually, because thinking about it, I don't know how good a fight stick would be for Smash, because you need both left and right analog sticks. So he's let in. He's got his own video game system, even though he was promised he'd be able to use someone else's. He's like, I want to bring my own in. I'm comfortable using it. I have it modded to my perspectives or whatever. And Jesus Christ. And mid-presentation, there's like 12 or 14 people that are brought up to the stage, and they're all kind of hooked into their weird spine buttholes, and the guy rips open his video game controller or system or whatever to reveal a gun. He pulls out a gun made out of flesh and bone. It's literally like, it has ribs and teeth, and it has like a goopy sound that goes along with it, and when they cock it, it crunches. Like, it's really, really interesting. It's a cool design. I loved it so much. And it shoots teeth, so like, as long as you have access to teeth, you can load it. And that's fucking awesome, because I mean, I'm writing a screenplay right now where a guy is like using teeth as like little hard candies, like he's knocking around in his mouth, and I could just imagine him just like spitting one out, popping it into his gun, and firing it off. Like, it sounds really cool. So he pulls out the gun and he assassinates. Does he assassinate? Yeah, he assassinates Jennifer Jason Leigh. He says, "Death to the demon queen of the video game," or something like that. And she gets shot. I'm pretty sure a few other people get shot, but is that how that happens actually? Or does he get... People get shot. Sorry, I'm just rethinking this now. No, I don't think she gets shot. Oh, no, she definitely does. She gets shot because there's a whole thing about her being like the horny shots over, anyway. So, she gets shot non-lethally. A few people get killed. And they escape. Jude Law didn't play, but he was watching, and he saves, or like he goes away with Jennifer Jason Leigh in some way, shape, or form, and they're off on their own. And is it that? What the fuck happened? I'm sorry, because at some point, no, yeah, I think I'm still on the right track. She takes him along and is and he's like, I don't have a port to play your video game. And she's like, oh, that's fucking weird. You're some weirdo that doesn't have a port? Like, what kind of weirdo doesn't have a port? They call it a bio port, which, it's not on the nose. It's kind of pretty perfect. It's what you would call that, I think. They don't show it yet in the film, but essentially it's a butthole, like quite literally just like a butthole that you get installed into your spine. So there's a little extra hole in your back that you can plug things into. And Jude Law doesn't have that. He's like a Mormon or something. Not actually. He was like, he never played a game in his life, I think is what he said. And he's a reporter or some sort. And he just is trying to get the scoop on the game. But he gets pulled into this whole thing with an assassination attempt, and now he's brought along with Jennifer Jason Leigh, where they go to see a guy named Gas, played by Willem Dafoe, where he is asked to give him a bioport, a back alley bioport. Like, he has these really grimy looking machines. He's a really greasy looking mechanic. It's Willem Dafoe, so you know, like, he's good at being a greasy, big teethed horror man. And he gives him the port. He intentionally fucks it up so that he can sabotage the machine, and they go on a little bit more of an adventure. But he gets his port, right? He gets his port, and they go into the game. And in that game, you are allowed to be yourself. Like, there's some sort of gap in my mind with what happens here. Because the thing is, it's supposed to be a mindfuck movie. There's like a big twist at the end, which I will be revealing. I'm sorry, I guess. But I will say the big reveal ruins the film for me. I liked it up until the last 30 seconds. Like, it genuinely ruined it for me. But the whole thing is that they're going into a video game where you can be yourself, just like any immersive isekai video game where people are putting on some sort of spine tapping technology that is morally ambiguous and probably used to control people more than it is to entertain, as most entertainment is. Commentary on real world subjects or whatever. But the whole thing is you are still a character in the video game. I'm going to keep saying video game. I don't care if it is or isn't. I'm pretty sure they just call it the game, though. But while you are yourself, you still have to be, to an extent, on rails. Because game storylines can only progress if you progress the storyline intentionally. And to do that, you need to have correct dialogue options. You need to go to the right places. You need to talk to the right people. It's a lot of that, but because you're still yourself, you don't inherently know how to do any of that. So the game sort of railroads you by giving you NPCs that will only respond to you if you say the right thing. And as I said about subconsciously changing, you have like inherent instincts that understand the game more than your conscious self does. So just randomly you will like outburst a specific dialogue option that you just didn't have in your head, and it's a little confusing at first, and it actually concerns Jude Law, because the whole thing about him not wanting to play video games is like losing his sense of reality. And the first thing he starts to notice when he's doing all this is that he's losing his sense of reality. Like he gets concerned about what's real and what's not, which is very Inception. It's a very Inception thing, but it's also tied in with like heroin use or like drug use in general, because the drug use in general. There's a scene where they hook up. I don't remember the exact term, but they plug themselves in, and actually, hold on. Let me backstep one thing, because I did want to mention Jennifer Jason Leigh's bullet wound, her tooth wound, if you will. I would have loved if they expanded on the tooth thing and maybe like gave people infections if they didn't die. That would have been a really cool concept to it. But no, it's just it's just a less damaging bullet. It still worked like a gun, and she got shot with a tooth. But there's a scene where Jude Law is digging the tooth out of her shoulder, and it is very much just like a horny, like, it's very horny. It's very much like, oh, it shows her face kind of like as the whatever he's doing to dig out the tooth. Like it's very sexual for it just being, and I'm assuming that's how Crash is. I haven't seen Crash, as I expanded on way too much earlier, that I haven't seen things, but it's very much just like the wound is the orifice in which sexual pleasure can be received. So there's this whole thing with that, but then I definitely skipped something. I'm pretty sure he had to get his bioport first from Willem Dafoe. Then there's a big shootout or something where Willem Dafoe gets killed, and they go and run off after he's already gotten his bioport. He has to get it fixed because his bioport was sabotaged by Willem Dafoe in some way that it's hard to explain. Yeah, so they go into the game, they have to do stuff. He gets his bioport, and it's a butthole. It's essentially what it is. They show scenes of it getting things inserted into it, things like the intestine cable that plugs you into the video game system, some sort of disinfecting clump that you can pop in there, human fingers and tongues. It is very much another orifice to be used, and it's used very much. So they plug in, and the scene of them plugging in, and specifically them unplugging, because what happens is, like I said, Jude Law is getting concerned with his connection to reality, his understanding of what's going on, and like what's real and what's not, because he's feeling that video game character subconsciously moving his mind into certain directions, and he didn't like it. He found it to be pretty fucked, actually. So he exits the game, and they're on like a motel bed together, and it's literally like, I'm pretty sure Breaking Bad took shots from this film for the heroin episodes, because it's very much just like a standard, like two people are knotted out on a bed, and it's like shot from overhead, and they're just like, they look like shit. They wake up really groggily, and it's very, very much, why am I going this way? I'm getting my inhalers right. It's very much just weird. It's I shouldn't say weird. It's very much a depiction of drug abuse, especially since Jennifer Jason Leigh wakes up and goes like, that was great, wasn't it? Which also could be some sex stuff. There's definitely some sex stuff in here. I wouldn't doubt it, at least. I wouldn't doubt it. I definite it. And why is there a left turn out there? Okay. So yeah, they're jumping back and forth from, like, they're going in and out of the game. They're trying to solve the puzzles of the game. They're given like small clues that you would get in a video game. It's very it's just interesting because it's like one guy doesn't know what the fuck is going on. You're in his head most of the time, not literally, but and then the woman who knows what's going on is being annoyingly cryptic about it to the point where like it's just weird. So like they go to like a Chinese restaurant and they have to order the special, and you're not allowed to take no for an answer when you order the special. Very special occasions or what, it's a whole thing. And it turns out that the special that they order at the Chinese restaurant is the origin of the flesh gun from the beginning of the game, which is really when things start to get like a little confusing, because like, where did the flesh gun come initially if I guess someone else ordered the special, right? I guess that's the implication of it. But yeah, someone else ordered the special, I guess. So like he's eating and he's doing the video game thing where he's like, oh, my body is just like telling me to do this, like I have to listen to it, I have to eat this, like I know what I'm doing, but only because I'm listening to my subconscious. And he starts eating this icky looking food. It's really slimy looking and makes a lot of squishy noises and stuff. It's not fun. It's very icky, very, very icky. So I have to go inside to get my medication because that is way too long of a line for the pharmacy. Jesus Christ, it's poking out around the building. You guys are dumb as fuck, bro. You would think that if the line is so long, you would just get the fuck out. But whatever. I'm going to park and I will try and continue this. What was I just saying? We just got to him making the flesh gun. I will try and remember that. I'll do my best. I will be right back. Oh, that's good. That's some good shit. Love myself a good inhaler. So, let's see. Can I get through this in the next like few minutes? Because now I got through the flesh gun. Shit's getting a little crazy, so people are clearly hunting Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh. There seems to be some sort of uprising with people not wanting this video game to exist, this brain installing video game, for probably very obvious reasons. Like, it's a very logical thing to not want to have to plug something into your spine. Like, that's a pretty cool thing to not want. Look at that. I demolished that line. Yeah, if you see a line at the drive-through pharmacy, don't fucking go do it. Like, I just saved 35 minutes of waiting, genuinely. If even one of those cars in that line has like an issue that needs to be rectified, I guarantee that's going to be like a 35-minute wait. Just for those 5 or 6 cars. I believe it. I guarantee it. So, yeah, they're being hunted. They finally got a gun. And, Jude Law is like, where do I get ammo? And then his subconscious reaches into his mouth and pulls out 3 teeth. And she's like, when did you get a bridge? She's like, nah, my teeth are perfect. So, like, video game plot critical body morphing is happening here. He loads up his gun with his teeth. One of them is a cap. Very nice. I wonder if that does extra damage or something. I always, never mind. I don't always. I literally watched the film once and thought about it once. But, what are the words? Words and things, Yeah, extremists are hunting Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Jude Law is trying to help because he's getting a little, falling in love for this woman kind of thing. They have a really, really weird scene where like I said, they treat the portholes like buttholes. So like Jude Law literally fingers hers, and there's like a cut to her like moaning in relief, and then it cuts back to him shoving his tongue into it. Like, bro, 1999, shoving your tongue into a bioport, that's some pretty risque shit. You know, pre 9/11 Cronenberg really, you know, I'm curious if he's doing that in Crash too, you know. But oh man, there's like there's a whole subplot of like his bioport is faulty and corrupted, so she like plugs it up with this weird like antibacterial spark plug thing that goes, and like even though bioports supposedly can never get infected, his is infected. Just another lie he was told, and it's just it's an odd one. So what else we got here? They're being hunted. Jude Law exists. I'm really good at remembering Jennifer Jason Leigh's name for some reason. I really don't know how. And yeah, so they get back to what happens between that and the end. Let's think. They meet up with people who are trying to help them. They find like a small little regime of people that are trying to protect her. And they get like harbored, and you know, the gun and stuff like that are there, and right. So there's definitely some stuff that happens in between, and I'm really regretful for not remembering. But the don't turn left. Okay. Actually, I don't even think you can turn left here. Yeah, there's a sign. They're being hunted though. They get cornered. Oh yeah, they find they wake up, right? They wake up and they're in different characters. They're still the same people. They're still in the same body. It's not body swapping anybody, but they wake up and they're different characters and they're separated, and they're working in something called like the fish factory or something like that. And it's just this production line of people gutting animals and pulling out organs, and essentially it's a factory that builds the video game system that they are in. And it's just like there's scenes of Jude Law just like pulling organs and shit out of like a pile of flesh. There's another subplot of like Jennifer Jason Leigh's her personal video game system is like at risk, but that's just kind of like going along with everything that's already been said. But there's yeah, so they're in this weird like factory. It looks very not like a sweat, what is it called, sweatshop, but and not like a professional industrial factory either. It's like right in the middle. I don't know what this dude's trying to do to pass me. I'm pretty sure you should know that the lanes are going to be compressed once we get up here, right? It's called the zipper, buddy. So they end up in this room, and they end up finding each other, but they get different identities, and they have name tags and stuff. There's actually a complete. I'm completely reordering the film. That's funny. That actually happens in the beginning. That's before they even go to the Chinese restaurant. They wake up as like workers in a fish factory. So just assume that happened. And then the Chinese food and the special, because the guy working next to Jude Law is like, order the special and don't take no for an answer. Whatever. It's just another video game moment. So skip ahead, they're back in the factory, and they're trying to find Jennifer Jason Leigh's infected video game machine before the infection destroys the game that they are in. which existentially, we don't know what the hell would happen if the video game got destroyed while they were still in it. So the whole thing is them trying to find it. They meet up, they find it, they set the whole place on fire. It's a really crazy final fight, and then they wake up, and they're wearing little blue headsets. Not just those two, they're in the same room that the film started in, except the video game title on the wall is slightly different, and as I mentioned, they're wearing little blue helmet like things rather than being plugged into a thing. And here's where the spoilers, I mean, I've been spoiling this the entire time, but this is when like the ending gets spoiled, so I guess, you know, if you really want to be fearful or whatever. But they end up back in the same room that they started in with the video game presentation thing, like the conference, except there's different people hooked up to the machine. And more specifically, the different people are people from throughout the film. They're characters that they interacted with. They're all like, wow, that was a really cool video game. That was really awesome. That was super cool. Like, and Willem Dafoe was like, I hated that I died so quickly, but I sure loved being there. That was such a cool experience. And you guys killed it. I guess once you die, you get to spectate or something, and you become the camera. But, yeah, that's how, like, they're pulled out, and they're like, oh, yeah, it turns out the film started already in the video game. And the video game that they played was a video game about their video game being made and the possibilities of the things that could happen when that video game gets made. They were like, why was there such an anti-video game plot in the video game? And the guy that made it was like, someone here doesn't like video games. And then Jude Law pulls out a gun and says the thing from the beginning about murdering the death angel of video games, but it's a different person. It's not Jennifer Jason Leigh. They are both, or he is at least, like part of the terrorist organization that they were running from in the video game. And then it ends. And I loved the film. The film was awesome. It had a really icky feeling the entire time. Like, it was really well made, and it's just a super great film. But that ending was so, like, it undercuts everything. And I couldn't tell if this film was like Cronenberg targeting video games as a negative, if he was criticizing the people who demonize video games, or if he's theorizing about how far entertainment can go to control people. Like, there's a lot of things that it could be talking about, and the ending does nothing to help me clarify that. It just makes me a little annoyed, because, like, there's no ambiguity. It's not like Inception where it ends and you go like, oh, is it or isn't it? Like, it's definitively, you were lied to the entire time. Everything that happened didn't happen, and the person you were following is actually the bad guy. And that's it. At least assuming you don't want the game to be made. Hypothetically, he's always been the good guy, but just on two different sides. It's just, you know, everyone's the good guy in their own story, and he is always in his own story. That's kind of like the whole point of the immersive video game system that they're in. So it ends, the credits roll, and I'm left with very annoying, these thoughts. Very disappointed in the ending. I still liked it. It's still an above average film despite the ending. Like, I think it's great. However, it just didn't land. So, yeah, I mean, that's the film. And I think I actually got through it really nicely. I think there was some good efficiency going on there. That was cool. I didn't expect to be able to talk about this film as extensively as I did today. Maybe it's because the disc is right next to me. Maybe it's because I watched it so recently. I don't really know. I mean, I try to keep things within a week of me watching it, so whatever. But I just got to the library, and I'm not going to pause and come back. So before I go, I bought sour strips, rainbow sour strips. hyped as fuck to eat them. A little snack. And anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me. You can tell me that you want to know what kind of medication I'm on, or whatever. You know, I take emails about anything, and the emails aren't restricted to anything. Anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to do that. It's in the episode description along with my Letterboxd account, which I link on every episode because even though I keep saying it's not a movie podcast, it's just about me. Most of me is on Letterboxd, so I guess it kind of goes parallel until I do something else. So yeah, anythingbutted@gmail.com if you want to reach out to me. I do exist. I am a person with a perspective and thoughts, feelings, etc. You have been listening to Tastes Like Tea, a podcast about me am I am me am tea. I feel like I have to change that at some point.